More information is coming out regarding Philando Castile's driving record. Now, Philando Castile was the man in St. Paul who was shot and killed by police after he revealed to a cop that he had a licensed gun in his vehicle. And then, according to a Facebook Live video that his girlfriend did at the time, she alleged that as he was reaching for his wallet, the cop shot him, thinking that he might have been reaching for his gun. Okay, so that case obviously will undergo an investigation. But what's interesting is he has absolutely no criminal record whatsoever. Usually when these stories break out, right-wingers will scour records to see whether or not this individual has anything on their criminal record. He had nothing. However, an investigation of his driving record turned up some really interesting information. So according to the Huffington Post, Philando Castile had been accused by police more than 50 violations in the 2 counties that encompass the suburb of Falcon Heights where he got shot, a record that stretches back to when he was 19. The dozens of citations were for minor infractions that included speeding, improperly displaying a license plate, and driving without proof of insurance. Nearly half of those charges were eventually dismissed outright. So the reason why this is important to bring up is because it shows that there is a disproportionate amount of attention focused on black drivers, okay? And again, nearly half of those so-called citations were dismissed because there was no wrongdoing, right?
So I got to step in here because I think if you've never experienced this, it's almost unbelievable to you. Like I think a lot of people will look at that, certainly those in the right wing, but even people who aren't in the right wing go, well, 50 citations, you know? First of all, understand, none of it was anything approaching criminality. It's citations like you get a traffic ticket, you didn't stop at the stop sign enough, etc. But it's not just that. It's not like he's some sort of reckless driver. Another person today in the news, coincidentally, it's not coincidental because of all these issues that are out, a WNBA player on the Lynx was saying, hey, we've got to do something here, get justice. And she told her story in a press conference, and she said, look, I get stopped all the time. And she's not even male, right? But she's African American. Oh, you have out-of-state license plates. I had out-of-state license plates here in L.A. for 13 years. Oh, my God. Okay, never got pulled over for it. Never, okay? It's an excuse to pull certain people over. She says she got pulled over for an air freshener. Wow. Because there's something hanging in your thing. I don't know if it's legal or not. Well, I'm going to pull you over. So, guys, just because it doesn't happen to you doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. So for African Americans in this country, this is what they experience over and over and over again. And by the way, that'll make you late to work. That'll put more fines on you. All these things that you've got to overcome. And if you lose your job because you're late for the 3rd time because you got pulled over for an air freshener again, damn it, then they'll turn around and say, oh, I see you don't have a job. And in this case, it was a lot worse than that because they shot and killed him.
By the way, also, just look, for anyone who doubts all of these cases of police brutality or, you know, racial profiling and everything, just put yourself for 1 second into his shoes and think about what it would be like to get accused of 50 traffic violations between the ages of 19 and 32. 50.
And half of them were so preposterous that they were dismissed out of hand. I know when I go to court, you know, I've had a bunch of traffic tickets, nothing like this, right? And I earned every one of them. Okay. And when I go to court, nothing gets dismissed, right? They're like, no, dude, you were going 55 and a 25. This ain't getting dismissed. So they only dismiss them if there's some sort of glitch or the cop didn't show up or they were total crap and you know why you pulled them in there.
Right, exactly. So let me give you some numbers that should also shock you. Now, the NAACP of St. Paul estimates that 80 to 90% of people pulled over in St. Anthony or by the St. Anthony police in Falcon Heights are either African American or Native American and are cited for minor infractions. So I looked into the demographics of this area to see what the reality is, because if it's a predominantly black area, well, then maybe it makes sense that the majority of people that get pulled over are black. However, according to the 2010 census, about 73.3% of individuals living in the area are white. So the vast majority of people living there are white. Only 8% are black. Only 0.5% are Native American, 15% are Asian, and 3% are Latino Hispanic.
So now the NAACP is obviously estimating. So it's, And hopefully, I would love to get the real numbers, and the NAACP and other groups always ask for the real numbers, and the cops never want to give the real numbers of what races they pulled over. You want to guess why? Because probably their estimates are fairly correct. So even though it's overwhelmingly white area, and not, by the way, not despite the fact that it's an overwhelmingly white area, probably because it's an overwhelmingly white area, they're pulling over blacks at an 80 to 90% rate. Not 80% of blacks that are coming by, but 80% of the people that are being pulled over are black. So look, JR's experienced this. We've talked about it a lot on the show. Almost every African American friend I have has experienced this. What brings you here? What kind of question is that? What do you mean, what brings me here? And in this case, this is a particular avenue that the local African American community knew about and says, oh, you better slow down when you get there, because if you're black, they're pulling you over.
Yeah. Look, I mean, just to give you another example, you're not supposed to have your front windows tinted in LA. In California, I think. I always have my front windows tinted. I like the way it looks. I'm going to tint them. And if I get stopped, all right, I broke the law. I'm going to have to get a fix-it ticket and deal with all that. I have never been stopped for tinted windows.
Yeah,
by the way.
And so at first I didn't understand why anybody would have tinted windows, because they're going to pull you over. Then I realized I drove my brother-in-law's car for a while, and he had tinted windows. I was like, oh no, they don't pull you over. Tinted windows in LA means you get pulled over if you're black, okay? Because that means I got an excuse to pull you over. You're driving a nice car in LA and you're not black and you got tinted windows, you ain't getting pulled over.
No.
So, like, again, if you haven't experienced it, I know it seems unbelievable to you because it's just so outside of your experience, but this is their experience. So open your eyes to it and understand what's happening. Yeah. And so, by the way, about Castile, I know that after anybody dies, people always say wonderful things about them, like, oh, he was a saint, he was this, etc. In this case, the guy worked at a Montessori school. Every parent there is like, my God, he was the nicest guy. And
he memorized the food allergies of all the students, which is amazing.
So he was the cafeteria supervisor. He had memorized the names and food allergies of all 500 students. One of the parents called him Mr. Rogers with dreadlocks. So, nope, still didn't help him. Gets pulled over and does exactly what the cops tell him to do and gets shot anyway. That's what we're trying to get you to see. That is unfortunately the experience of a lot of African Americans in this country.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, I've been, as far as the tinted windows, I learned that because I was pulled over for it. I learned about it here when it was, I said, well, what's the level you can do? And it was a genuine question because if you live in LA, 80% of the cars have tinted windows, if not higher, because it's hot and the sun is out most of the time and it makes your car hotter. Anyway, so there's a reason for it, but they said only the back windows. So anyway, that, and also there's a section, and we talk about certain parts of LA. I know certain areas, certain streets I don't go down because I know how it works. And I'm not gonna name the particular parts of the city, but that's what I've experienced as well. So when they talked about going through a certain stretch in that area, Falcon Heights, that's a regular thing in all parts of the country. Lastly, the thing about the motivation with lying, which is what people always say, unless you have a proof, do you have proof that these cops do this? So think about the motivation black folks would have to lie about being pulled over by cops, being harassed by cops, being killed by cops, injured by cops, all these things is because they intrinsically hate the cops. That's what people always say. Bill O'Reilly, the Rudy Giuliani's of the world. They just hate cops. They're trying to get a war on cops. So again, that goes back to the character of this large portion of the population. It's a minority, but all black folks in the country who've experienced this, they're doing it collectively because they just intrinsically and just naturally hate cops. Hate cops because you're born hating cops. And then once you do that, you're trying to disparage their existence and therefore you want to kill them. It all goes back to murderous, violent, angry, aggressive behavior. It's all based in that. Even in just the lie of doing it, what other motivation would you have? Because you want them dead. That's your first priority. So it's the same recycled argument against the existence of certain folks. They're just violent.
Yeah, they're inherently violent.
So a couple of things about that. Now, one, why would black people all of a sudden decide in unison to dislike cops? Is it possible it's because they've had negative interactions with cops? Like, why does that not occur to people? They're like, oh, maybe the cops did something to them. That's why when they see a cop, they're afraid and they're worried and they're concerned, right? And so, we had Michael A. Wood Jr. in here. I quote him often, but he's a Baltimore cop who said, do you think that blacks were all lying in all these different cities for all these years, that they all just made it up that cops target them? No, they're not lying. We do target them. And so now he's retired and he's willing to say that. So that's why they feel it. But the mythology that Chair is referring to is, so even when cops do it, a lot of it is their training, it's the culture that unfortunately, that I think we can fix, and a lot of it is unconscious bias. But when right-wing pundits like O'Reilly get on TV and say, oh, they just hate cops, that's how they are. That's not unconscious, that's conscious.
Yeah.
That's because he's a racist prick. So that doesn't apply to all white people, not remotely. It doesn't apply to all cops, no. It does apply to the right-wing hate mongers who say that stuff on purpose. And I know I'm not supposed to say this because white people get super touchy about it, right? But I can't help it, because every time somebody says blacks are violent or more prone to criminality or violence, as somebody on CNN just said yesterday, it drives me crazy. You would think that black people enslaved white people and put them in chains and beat them and whipped them and lynched them and killed them and raped them and did all those things. And then you would say, well, I mean, black people are violent. Look at what they did to white people. But it was the reverse.
I know.
It was the reverse. And now black people are getting, it's not like white people are getting shot all over that are unarmed, et cetera, at a disproportionate rate as African Americans. So then they turn around, like it's literally adding insult to injury to say all this stuff happened to African Americans throughout American history and continue to happen to some degree as we outline here today. But on top of that, we're going to call you violent.
And it works.
And that's the thing that drives me insane, and I cannot abide by it. So what we're trying to do here is correct the record, know the real facts, understand what actually happened, and look, for everybody in the country, for once, try to see the other perspective. It'll do you a world of good, and it'll do the country a world of good.